Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Okay, I'm a bit late with this preview, but tomorrow, which is Friday the 11th of July 2025, there's going to be an absolute bonanza of excellent matchups in the women's game. It's going to be on Netflix, and it is headlined by Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor in their third fight. Okay, you've also got Ellie Scottney against Yamaleth Mercado. That's undisputed. Is it undisputed? I think it's undisputed. Three of the belts anyway, but undisputed. At Super Bantam, Baumgarten, Leslie Baumgartner's fighting Jennifer Metcalf. Undisputed at Super Feather. Savannah Marshall and Shadesha Green. That's for a few of the belts at Super Middle. Chantel Cameron, Jessica Kamara. They're fighting for an interim belt, WBC or WBO interim belt, WBC I think it is. And then Chanika Johnson of Australia against Sharetta Metcalf. That's for, is that undisputed? That might be an undisputed one as well. And that is at bantamweight. And you've also got Ramla Ali's against Leila Furtado. That's on the undercut. I mean, it's a bonanza of women's boxing. And even though some people are still resistant to the idea of women boxing, that's what it boils down to. It's nothing to do with the excitement of the game, because if you watch women's boxing, you'll know there are just as many exciting matchups, exciting fights in the women's game as there are men's game. Of course, the pool of talent is a lot more shallow in the women's game. But in the last 12 to 15 years, the women's game has made big strides, and there's plenty to enjoy in the women's game. Exciting fights, trust me, there is. And there were none more exciting than the first fight between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, which was one of those incredible contests that, as brilliant as it was, had me fuming, because I am someone who dislikes the 2-minute rounds, okay? Especially 10-2s over a world title fight distance. 10-2s is 20 minutes of boxing. In other words, it's only 2 minutes more than a men's 6-rounder, 6-3s. Okay, so I hate 2-minute rounds, and at the very least, it should be 12-2s at the very least, but preferably 3s. And Amanda Serrano is someone who said, "I want to fight 3-minute rounds." Well, since I think she had one fight, 12 3s, which she won unanimously, but since then, nothing. It's back to the 10-2s, but the two fights they've already had, Amanda and Katie, have been magnificent contests. And this third one, although I think they are probably both past their best now, nevertheless, it should provide, if it provides, 60-70% of the excitement of the first fight, or the second fight was good as well, then we can't really complain, can we? It's going to be a good night, a good watch, and very much a good night's boxing. Again on Netflix tomorrow, Friday, not Saturday. Right, so if you look at Amanda Serrano, you've got a 36-year-old southpaw who's been up and down like a horse draws with those weights from, I think, is it flyweight or super flyweight to lightweight? I mean, she picked up belts in, I think, 8 divisions, is it? 6 divisions, 8 divisions? I lose track, to be honest with you. I should have checked BoxRec before I did the video, but she's 36 now. She's got 47 wins with 31 KOs, which is an incredible percentage for a female fighter. Normally, the 2-minute rounds mean that women haven't got a chance to fully get their work done. You've got to really sting the girl early and then jump in and finish her off. You haven't got that third minute to sort of lower the boom. But 31 KOs in 47 wins is incredible. 3 defeats, 2 of them to Katie on points, and 1 draw. And when you consider that apart from Katie, the only woman to beat her is Frida Wahlberg, the Swede. That was back in 2012. That was a unanimous 10-round decision for the WBC super featherweight title. And that goes, it's an incredible record. But that goes back, 2012 goes back to when this current incarnation of women's boxing was just kind of taking off again, And then you've got Katie Taylor. Once beaten by Chantel Cameron, she avenged that defeat. I was hoping for a third fight, like a decider, a rubber match. Didn't happen. Instead, she went after Amanda Serrano again, which for their rematch, which is understandable. There's a lot of money in it. Katie's 24 wins with 6 KOs, that one defeat and no draws. She's orthodox stance, but she is 39 now, 3 years older than Amanda. And this lady, competitiveness, she seems to have just been born with it. I mean, you could say the same about Amanda, of course, but nevertheless, I mean, when people were writing Katie off, they thought Chantel would win the rematch. I actually picked Chantel to win the rematch. I picked her to win both those fights against Katie. But Katie got the job done. Both those fights actually took place in Ireland at the 3 Arena. So it was one each. And they may well fight again. I mean, if Katie, whether she does or doesn't beat Amanda for this third time, her and Chantel Cameron might resume their little disagreement for a decider in their little rivalry. I don't know. But this coming up. The fight tomorrow is for the undisputed super lightweight titles. Katie has also been undisputed lightweight champ. And like I say, it's orthodox, 39-year-old orthodox against 36-year-old southpaw. Now, it is possible, apart from the chronological age, it is possible that despite the fact Katie has got, what is it now, 25 fights less than Amanda, it's possible that there's more miles on the clock. Because both of the Cameron fights were arduous, okay? Both the Serrano fights were very arduous. In fact, she was in a lot of trouble in that first fight against Amanda in the 5th round. And had it been a 3-minute round, she might have been stopped by Amanda. Amanda hits really hard for a woman. I mean, it sounds like a very chauvinistic thing to say, but for a woman, I mean, women don't seem to punch. They don't have that single punch power that men have. It may be just, biological mechanics, dynamics, whatever you want to call it, but they genuinely don't. I don't think that's a chauvinistic thing to say. And also, the 3-minute rounds as opposed to 2-minute rounds mean you got more time to get your work done. But Katie also had, two tough fights with the unbelievably tough Delphine Persoon. Delphine Persoon, in case you don't know, is this amazingly tough Belgian woman. I think she's about 40 now, but she's had about 53 fights. I think she's only been beaten 3 times. Someone stopped her. I remember reading her box record. I can't remember who stopped her early on in her career, and I'm like, who the hell stopped this woman? What did she use? A sledgehammer? Because this girl is teak tough. I mean, she's built like bloody raw iron, and she doesn't look it. I think she's a copper as well in Belgium. She's a long-term policewoman. And Katie threw everything at her. And in my opinion, Delphine Persoon won their first fight, definitely. The second fight, closer, but I think Katie probably edged that. But the first fight, to me, Delphine Persoon won that fight with sheer toughness and industry. And it was, I don't know, maybe Katie took her a little bit lightly. I think that first fight was in 2018, 2019, that's 6-7 years ago maybe. Katie, earlier on in her career, a couple of years before that, had a very tough fight with Jessica McCaskill. That was a unanimous 10-round decision, and she won most of the rounds, Katie, but it was a tough fight. So some of these victories, even though she does whitewash, she has been whitewashing girls some of the time. On other occasions, they've been tough little fights. Christina Leonardatu of Greece, she gave Katie a very, very tough fight as well. So there are miles on the clock here. And Amanda, like I say, an awful lot of her contests have ended inside the distance, disproportionately so for women's boxing. She's done 10 rounds on, a lot and won widely. But I don't remember, although I can't say I've probably seen out of the 51 fights she's had, I've probably seen about 30 of them. And I don't remember her ever being, apart from the Katie Taylor fights, being in any real draining contests. And again, she is 3 years chronologically younger than Katie. Now, if we're talking about rough and tumble fights, it has been said about Katie Taylor that she fights dirty. And certainly in the last fight with Serrano ended up with a huge sort of gash across her eye. I mean, it was a horrendous cut. And Katie had a point taken off of her headbutting. Katie does come in with the head. Whether it's deliberate or not, I don't know. I think it's just sort of rough and tumble stuff. Does she use it deliberately? I don't know. I mean, it does. Whether she does it deliberately or not, it's reckless boxing. Reckless. She comes in kind of like Holyfield used to. I mean, Holyfield was a pretty good purveyor of the dark arts as well. Very different type of fighter to Katie stylistically. I'd say Holyfield was technically a lot better because Katie does have good skills, but a lot of what's helped her achieve what she's achieved, it's been an innate toughness and a competitiveness and a determination to win, because her skills are good, but I wouldn't say Katie Taylor had great skills. She does everything well, but nothing spectacularly. And she doesn't have one-punch power. Amanda does. Amanda stung Katie a few times in the rematch as well. She just hits really, really hard for this spindly Puerto Rican woman. I mean, she's terrific, absolutely terrific. And the southpaw thing, did that give Katie any problems? Well, sometimes you get the head clashes if you've got orthodox versus southpaw anyway. Look, I'll be blunt with you. This is the first fight since their last fight for both ladies. This prediction is probably going to be pretty much guesswork, because we know what they've both got. We've seen them fight twice before. They've both had long careers. We know what they can both do. You'll probably get a lot of aggression from Katie, mixing the boxing with the rushing forward. You'll get Amanda looking to lead off with the southpaw backhand. Jabs. The jabs will probably fade into oblivion as the fight goes on. You might get a few jabs in the first 2 or 3 rounds. But Amanda is a bit more, I'd say, of an upright stylist. But Katie rushing in, even though Serrano is fighting now at 140, she's probably naturally a smaller woman. That's not to say she was being ragdolled in those first 2 fights, because Katie, as a natural lightweight, now fighting at 140, physically she's still quite imposing against someone the size of Amanda. But I would say Amanda can probably hold her own. She doesn't really want to get into any kind of mauling wrestling match with Katie. She needs that little bit of space to fire those sharp punches, because she is a sharper puncher than Katie. Katie's got that thudding power. Amanda's more of a sharpshooter. Which way does it go? Probably you could toss a coin on this one, couldn't you? I mean, I think this is in New York, by the way. This is Madison Square Garden. This whole card. It's quite possible that those tough fights catch up with Katie finally, and that Amanda, feeling that she was hard done by in the first 2 fights on the cards, and also with the head work, she complained about that a lot, said it's not fair, and it's cheating and so on. And there's been a little bit of, for Katie Taylor to get involved in any kind of back and forth verbally, it's very rare for her. But Amanda's been saying, this is the way you fight it's essentially cheating. That's the implication anyway. And her team have been even more vocal about it. So that could interpret Katie saying, okay, I'll give you another beating. Or it could be Amanda saying, I've got something for you. I owe you one. In fact, I owe you 2, and you're going to get it. Or it could be both ladies having those attitudes, and you end up with this boom, cataclysmic explosion in the middle of the ring. I hope so. But it is interesting that Katie Taylor at 2-0 is having a third fight with Amanda. It does reveal that a lot of people thought Amanda was hard done by in certainly the second fight with the headwork. I think probably what will... Do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if either girl won. I think it'll go to points. If anyone's going to stop anyone, it will be Amanda stopping Katie. It is feasible that Katie would get old. during this fight. That all those tough years, plus the long amateur career of winning an Olympic gold medal, world championships and all that it could just eventually, there is a straw that breaks the camel's back in terms of somebody's overall career. The sheer weight of the weight of what's gone before can eventually impose on the present. But I think, I'm tempted to pick Serrano on points in a wafer-thin fight. But I think I've got to stick with the girl who's won twice before. I'm going to go for Katie Taylor to win a very close points decision over Amanda Serrano. Provided she doesn't get old overnight. I'll have to go with Katie again on points. But again, would it surprise me if Amanda, won a decision or even stopped her late? No, because Katie, I think, is at the point where, even though she's looked pretty decent, she looked good in the last fight with Serrano and in the rematch with Chantel Cameron. But at the same time, at some point, something's got to give. 39 years of age, such a long career, tough fights. I think she'll probably have enough just to edge Amanda in the third fight, just about. But for Christ's sake, don't put money on it. I'm not betting on it. And don't be surprised if Serrano wins. That is it. I've said to you before, the only fights I ever do previews for are the ones I'm really not sure, because they're the most interested ones. But I'll go with Katie on points. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Do you think Amanda probably might have her number this time? You just never know. Amanda's going to be after. They both are, but Amanda she wants revenge. And she could turn the tables. But let me know what you think. Give me your predictions below and tell me why you think Fighter A will beat Fighter B. Thank you very much for watching this video. And thank you very much. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And it's going to be a good fight. But don't forget, Friday, not Saturday, all right, for this excellent card on Netflix. Friday, Netflix, all women's card. Don't miss it. It's going to be great. Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'll get you later. Bye for now.